Okay. My bangs look all right?
Yeah, they
All right,
do.
good.
They're banging.
Banging.
You got some banging bangs on you today.
After a fresh cut, you're always a little more self-conscious because you're like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, you give yourself haircuts. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bold.
Like once every 3 months, I cut my bangs.
It's bang season. It's September now. It's like let's let them rip, bang them out.
You gotta wait for humidity to decrease. And
Yeah.
that's when you can shorten the bangs.
Mm-hmm. You rock like some sort of weird mermaid hair thing in the summer, where it's just like your bangs just kind of grow out and go off to the side, and everything becomes like much more curly and voluminous.
Voluptuous.
Very voluptuous. Is it voluptuous or voluptuous?
Oh God, I think if it's voluptuous.
I've always thought it was voluptuous my whole life, and I heard someone say voluptuous, and I was like, damn, dude, I feel bad for you if that's what you think voluptuous is.
Well, now that you say it, I'm like, voluptuous sounds right.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure anymore.
I said a word the other day, and you were like, that's not a word. And I was like, what? But I don't know. Culpability?
Oh, no, I didn't say that wasn't a word.
You're like, what's that? I was like, oh, I'm just trying to spread out the culpability. And you're like, I don't think that's something.
No.
And I was like, culpable? Culpable?
No, I just think it was the context. I think, no. I don't remember what the situation was, but don't make me sound stupid. I know what's going on.
Yeah, you do. You definitely know what's going on. How you been doing, my girl?
Doing great.
Yeah?
Doing great. Feeling good. Feeling really happy. Very grateful. Very excited. It's a very exciting time.
Yeah.
I love this time of year. September is like Virgo season, and I get that like back to school energy, but it's really fun to have the back to school energy when you're your own boss.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a bummer when you used to get bummed out when you were a kid.
No, I loved going. I didn't like love school, but I loved getting organized and having my Trapper Keeper and all my colored pens and new like school supply shopping was my favorite thing in the whole world. So
yeah,
it made this time of year pretty exciting.
Yeah, I hated it all.
You'd think it would appeal to some of your proclivities.
No. I mean, I guess I like going back to school. Just be like, let's see what's gonna happen this year. Back at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was I'm a summer boy. I love the summer. I can't give it up. You know I have a hard time moving on from summer.
I know you're a party boy. You're like, just a little bit more party.
Just one more twist, please.
Our party was
for your boy.
I said that the summer was going to end at the Ween concert, so now we're going to have to find a new end of summer.
Ween, man. We brought them in. We brought our new copy of the Chocolate and Cheese 30th Anniversary edition here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can pray to the Boognish to heal the broken heart of our boy Dean Ween. You know, they had to cancel so many shows. They canceled all their shows this year. They played 3, and they were probably supposed to play like 20.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe 30.
Yeah.
Their first proper tour, like really where they're just like touring in years, and they had to cancel all the dates.
Well, thank God he's taking care of himself, and thank God that people are now, you know, when I watch we watch so many music documentaries, and you see these people tour till they're sick, and tour past beyond being sick, and you want to just go back and be like, no, stop, you don't have to do this, it's not worth it.
Jerry.
Yeah, exactly, and among many others.
Yeah.
And so this, I'm like, okay, it's a bummer. That would have been a killer show, and yeah, but there are things that are more important than this life.
There's things that are more important than this life?
In this life.
Oh, well than playing shows?
Than doing whatever you're expected to do or needed to do or whatever, whatever's on the docket.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. Sometimes you have to switch up what's on the docket for your mental health. I mean...
Clear the schedule.
Yeah, circle the wagons. And, oh, man. It's crazy. I feel like I know, like Dean especially. you know, Ween is Dean and Jean Ween. They've been best friends since they were 14. And they made all these incredible records. Like they wrote 1,000 songs, and they exist in some form or another, like out on the internet. They're out there. It's incredible, their catalog. There's nothing they've ever done that I don't love.
Yeah, my new favorite songs are like unreleased songs that they put out on this new deluxe edition of Chocolate and Cheese.
Yeah, they put out a third disc that's like 15 demos from the recording of this. And Cass's new favorite song is Dean Ween sitting there saying, "I think I'm gonna come." He's just saying that the whole time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna come. It's called Stop, Look, Listen, and Learn. Check that one out.
I have a type.
It's a banger. You do have a type. You do.
No, I do love Warm Socks too.
Mm-hmm, that's a good one.
I was like, this is my new favorite song. I have too many new favorite songs, but
yeah.
Side 5, get this final and play side 5 on
Well,
repeat.
that's a way to support the boys. I mean, they just had to drop off a tour. That probably cost them an incredible amount of money in merchandise. I don't know what happens when you cancel a tour, but it couldn't be good. It couldn't. You probably have to refund all this money.
And I'm sure you have. There's like mental health insurance, I would hope, you know.
I don't know. Try ever getting insured again. That's the problem. Like, it's like, dude, this is just, it's not good. It like when I found out the news that they canceled this show, like it hit me so hard because I was like, it just like informed me how bad it is. You know? Because we know, because we've met Dean, and like this is what he's all about. This is his. He loves playing guitar in front of people more than anything. Like how Jerry did. You couldn't get Jerry to stop. They could take a break in Grateful Dead, but he was still gonna fucking play every day with Jerry Garcia Band. And that's how I thought Dean was. I thought if anything, Gene was the one getting his arm twisted to do tours and be out there or whatever. And so for Dean to be the reason behind this, it just sent this sinking feeling. But it's better than him not being here anymore. I know that.
1000%.
You know, take all the time you need, brother. So they suspended their touring indefinitely, and it breaks my heart, but it's just like a great reminder to check in on your mental health. We know a lot of people losing it. We've all gone crazy lately.
We've all gone crazy lately.
Let's just fucking state the facts. We've all gone crazy lately, but
yeah.
I just when you're bearing witness to people kind of like going off the rails, it's like, what can I do? Like, what can you do?
I wish I knew.
You
know, but you know, because I think as a fan, and there's so many of us that have like an urge, like, can we help some way? Like,
yeah.
But it's like, I'm not in his inner circle, and I just hope his inner circle's looking out for him, you know?
Yeah, no, I know. You think you could solve his problems by just giving him hand jobs?
No, I do not.
You don't?
No, well, I think I could solve. No, I don't. But I think someone should be giving him hand jobs.
Yeah.
And cooking for him.
Mm-hmm.
And back rubs.
Yeah.
And taking him out into the forest for hikes.
Yeah.
And some fishing.
Fishing would help.
And
water.
Some water. Someone
needs to drink water for the first time in their life.
Some veggies.
Mm-hmm. Put down those cheesesteaks. Just get in a regimen. I mean, like, you get better the same way you got sick, right? Slowly but surely. And, you know, that shouldn't be daunting. That shouldn't be...
It's like freeing. You can't do it all at once.
You can't. There's nothing that you can do, especially with your mental health.
And it's not a failure if you're not, like, happy all of a sudden.
Mm.
Right? You know, if you can't do it all at once, it's like you set a lower bar of expectations. You're like, maybe today I'll just feel a little bit better. Maybe today I'll remember to say all the things I'm grateful for.
Right.
Maybe today I'll think to put my feet in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, happiness can be the ultimate goal, but it might take a second to get there. Mm-hmm. Maybe the goal at first should be like, let's get back to neutral. Let's get some good night's sleep. Get some exercise.
Good night's sleep is good.
Yeah, I mean, these are all things. God, I mean, how many people have we known, including ourselves, that are like, why am I like this? I don't understand. Like when I used to drink a fucking huge thing of chocolate milk every night and then be like, why am I snoring? I can't sleep. I feel like shit. My stomach hurts. I don't know what's going on. And you're like, maybe stop drinking a fucking liter of chocolate milk every night, bro. Turns out, like, I shouldn't be having dairy. You know, and it sounds like a boneheaded, meatheaded thing to say, but you can kind of like drop the hammer on your fucking mental health and be like, I'm taking this shit by storm right now. This is not, life is not going to get the best of me. I'm not going to, because all it is just stagnating energies. It's hard to hold on to if you're sweating every day. It's hard to hold on to if you're eating right.
Yeah.
It's hard to hold on to if you're drinking water. It's hard to hold on to if you're getting hand jobs from your lover. Or blowjobs or fucking whatever, you know?
Yeah, but it's also, that's a lot of factors. Having the wherewithal to, well, what about having, you never know what's going on behind closed doors or with someone's mental health, and you don't, you know what I mean? You just, I think you know what's required for your mental health.
Yeah, no, I know. I can only speak to what's worked for me because I'm prone towards the darkness. I've been a drifter in the dark. You know that.
Honestly, though, less than most people, in my experience.
Yeah.
When I got with you and after my mom got to know you a little bit, she's like, I'm glad you're with Sean. He's like happy. Like he's prone towards being happier. Not that you don't have hard times, but that's your natural inclination. You don't wake up. It doesn't feel like you wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
No, not usually.
Sometimes you can get there.
I can get there for sure.
And sometimes you can get there easier than others, but that's
Yeah. But I think I used to probably have anxiety, probably more than depression. Anxiety's future stuff, depression's past stuff. Isn't that like kind of the simple way of looking at it? But either way, it only arises from some form of stagnation. And it might be a hard thing to diagnose. It's just like, where am I stagnating? I don't understand. I am running every day. I am reading, you know, some form of stagnation. It's like, it's just making that be the center of your attention.
Yeah.
And it takes discipline to move your attention to a more positive disposition.
That PMA.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Positive mental attitude. And it sounds silly, but it's like, take it on as your religion. It's your fucking only way to get through this.
It's
thing.
literally all we have is our PMA.
That's all you have. The story of you. That's your ego.
And it's all you have to offer in the same way. Sometimes we get in this trap that it's like, I did something wrong. I need to feel bad. It's like you don't help yourself or anyone else by feeling bad.
Yeah.
Like it literally just stagnates you and doesn't change a goddamn thing.
Yeah, like no one cares. Like move on.
We are moving on no matter what, so you might as well lift up your feet.
Yeah. It's look, it's going to be an ongoing struggle for humanity. This is just where we're at. It's, you know, we've gotten to a place where we don't have to focus as much on
anything.
Our survival.
Yeah.
Like purely just, you know, to be able to you used to, in order to get by, have to fucking bust your fucking ass all day, every day, physically,
hard.
and you'd sleep because of that.
Yeah, I saw like a really popular rock climber. I think he was basically talking about how he doesn't really have anxiety or it doesn't get upset the way other people get upset because he's like, I do difficult things. I do scary things.
Yeah.
So if I miss my flight, I'm not gonna freak out because I'm literally free climbing.
Yeah.
And in very dangerous. My life is on the line. I'm not saying we should all be putting our lives on the line more often, but the more challenging things that you do, the easier things get. And that, I mean, that was the biggest takeaway I had when we were doing ayahuasca more regularly was, it was hard just to breathe. It was hard to get through a moment. I just had to anchor to my breath. And while I was doing it, I remember having like moments where I'm like, if this is what Sean wants to do, like, I don't know if I can be with him. This is like so hard, you know, going through this psychedelic gamut of the ether or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever best way to describe that
Just
is.
casting ourselves as far as we could.
Yeah.
To the point where you're like, is there any way to reel myself back in? And you're
I
like,
just
no,
feel like
we got this shit.
this is so hard.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. It was like an exhausting thing. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. I took so much away from it, but
You were a little more averse to hard things before we started doing that.
maybe. But I remember it being so hard that I was like, I guess my relationship with Sean's not going to last because this is like, I just can't keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the night, obviously, I'm like, had the most beautiful experience and I'm so grateful and see, you know.
You're trying to drag my ass back there.
No, I am trying to drag your ass back there.
Yeah.
But, it just made everything in my life so much easier because I was like, okay, I'm in a moment. I'm not having to hold onto my breath for dear life.
Right. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. And like, you know what I think has trained me in particular for this is like having a sister that has epilepsy. It's just like, that's par for the course in this family. Seizures that will fucking scare the shit out of you. And there's so many that eventually you start to say to yourself, like, well, how am I going to deal with this? Like, am I going to let everyone crush me? Am I going to allow this to push me into my lowest form, which is victimhood? And it's weird, once you're in victimhood, you don't realize you're swimming around in like your lowest form of
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yes.
When you're in victimhood, it's like there's no almost talking you out of it.
Yeah.
You
right.
know? Because you become so I'm only talking from personal experience. You can become so self-righteous of like, I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
If you could just only see how I'm the victim here, then you could do better by me and then we could be good.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do to you.
Well, I was trying to take more ownership over it, but sure.
No, you're talking about me. You're talking about how I'm like, hey, Cass, like, stop fucking with me, you know. But you know, any place where you can make that flip. I mean, like the thing is, I grew up with the seizures being so consistent and so terrifying, and injuries and 911, and Katie smashed her face and broke her nose, and I could barely even look at her, and I'm like so scared. Turning that into a superpower of becoming less reactionary, more zen. Yeah, it's mellowed me out a lot. It's probably made me the motherfucker that can even go do these films, or, you know, like, you know, you're like, oh, like even Kathy, our editor, and you were like, oh, I just get overwhelmed looking at all this. Like, I don't even know, you know, and I'm like, oh, this is nothing. A pile of footage that we have to organize. Like, that's fun. That's nothing. That's not watching someone go blue in the face and not breathe for 2 minutes and be like, are they, how?
Yeah, you can almost enjoy the process. You can almost enjoy that process more because your mind knows that it's not hard. You're like, there are hard things in life, and this is not one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and because it is.
But it is a hard thing.
Of course it is.
You know, but like not making it that allows me to do it and keep doing it. And
But you're
growing.
not giving yourself, you're not reinforcing the story that this is so hard. You're like, this is easy to me. And then you just, if you can't see it, you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep looking at it till it's easy.
Oh, yeah. Those are the games you and I were playing with each other, especially this year on making this film Wild Magic. Is you want it to be hard and oh God. I'm like, I want it to be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Someone in the movie says that. So what is magic? The only thing they said, smooth sailing.
Yeah.
What is magic? Smooth sailing. So when it doesn't feel like that, we weren't doing it.
I feel like I did pretty good this year.
You did great.
I did pretty good. I mean, we've been working together for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I have moments where I'm like trying to make things a little harder, but for the most part, I did pretty good.
Yeah. You did great. You did great. I think where we butt heads a little bit is you're like, okay, we got to have everything in order and we got to look at every frame of everything and go over it and have it be. And I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. We're going to get in the edit and it's going to be smooth sailing. It always has been. It always will be. I can't even give you rational reasons why. It just will. It'll work out.
It has to be.
Yes,
because that's
exactly
what the film has to be imbued with from beginning to end.
And it's where I choose in my life to point my perfect faith.
Yeah.
Is towards my abilities to capture that magic and fucking bring something to people that helps make them feel a little bit more connected.
Totally.
Or they just want to laugh at these people. I don't care.
You wanted to, you always is like when you're younger, when I first started producing, I wanted to skip to the end. Not the end,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just
yeah.
till like where I was like the confident producer who wasn't like freaking out
Yeah,
about
yeah,
everything,
yeah, yeah.
and anxious and a total stress mess, and
Yeah.
was able to be calm and present in the moment. But then you work with some older producers and you're like, dude, how do they do it? And you're like, they've seen some shit.
Yeah.
And I remember a producer you worked with telling us this horrible story about how someone literally died on the set of her commercial.
Mm.
And I'm like, that was that's as horrible as it.
That's the worst possible thing ever. I couldn't even continue doing this business if that ever happened. That's like extraordinarily traumatizing.
Yeah. And it's not that you need to go through that to be chill, but you realize that in this business, in the business of life, things happen,
Mm-hmm.
accidents happen, mistakes happen,
Yeah.
and you can kind of then start to put in perspective when it's not worth getting worked up about.
Mm-hmm.
And
It applies to a lot of things.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know people very close to us, like that. I don't know how else to put it. Wallow in victimhood, wallow in a negative story about life, and yep, fucking there it is. There it is. Yep.
There's
of
the
course.
evidence.
There it is. Yeah, look, Well, fuck. I mean, fuck. My mom died, and it's like that fucking sucks. But she wasn't gonna live forever, right? Would you rather, look, I can say this as someone that's lost people close to us. That's part of that's part of the deal you made coming down here. Is like you and everyone you know is going to be gone. And would you not want those things to happen? Like, what would life be like? Would you care? Would it make you more grateful? Were you grateful when they were here? What did you do with the time that you had with these people? I don't know if any of that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I think it's like a perspective shifter. And a lot of times when you get depressed or you get sad, it seems that the only way out is in and through it,
Mm-hmm.
And it's the goal in life isn't to be happy every moment of every day. It
Yeah.
feels like, but there is something about paying attention, and when you're sick of your bullshit, when you're sick of your depression, when you're sick of your anxiety, actually doing something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And allowing, it's like having a lazy day. You're like, I don't feel great about this, but I know I'm going to kick it into high gear tomorrow.
Right.
Because I felt like a piece of shit today.
Yeah, I mean, it's unnecessarily clinging to a victimhood story. It's like the joke's only on you. It's like it's the low-hanging fruit of emotions. It's stuff I think along with anxiety and depression, it's just stuff that just hasn't been processed. And I feel like the more you give your body and your mind and your soul like space to process things, and that's what meditation is to me. It's just like a digestion process. I think the more that you kind of give yourself that stuff, little by little, you start to get better. I think like everyone wants all the benefits of a 10-year meditation practice right away. Of course, that would be awesome. I think that's what we wanted. I think that's what we expected. I think we expected a miracle. But instead, what we got was a prescription for hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And we integrated it so quickly that it wasn't hard work anymore. And then it's just an essential part of our daily life. I'd say the same thing about our diet. I'd say the same thing about our exercise. And now we've added like a saunaing to that. We're very privileged to have access to a sauna. But it's you got to check in with yourself. You got to do right by yourself. And when the issues come up, you have to almost confront them in a way of like, what is this version of me? Who is this person? that I'm dealing with right now. And for me, it's usually like petulant 16-year-old that's just like full of angst and rage and righteousness. And it's like, it comes up like I was doing this to you last night. I was so upset about the simplest little thing. Like I had sat there looking through all the platforms and like put together a menu of movies I could present to you because you said you wanted to watch a movie. And then like after I had just finished, like, okay. And then you're like, let's just watch some stand-up thing. And I'm like, you fucker. And I became this petulant, angsty 16-year-old that was dealing with like what I interpreted as someone that wasn't being mindful towards my efforts, my actions, my feelings. It has to do with parental stuff. You know, that's about the age that I started to be like kind of, I would just describe it as like emotionally abandoned than actually abandoned. 2 years after that. But like, yeah, I was like, it was not smooth sailing for me back then. So, you know, when that little fucker comes up, it's good to know what I'm dealing with. It's still hard to deal with, but it's good to know, like, that's what I'm dealing with. That's like, you know, the traumatized version of me. I revert back to it.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. We had just been on top. I mean, and partly we're just on top of each other. And I was like, you know, there's a certain hour at the night that we can get annoyed with each other that, you know, once in a while, and you just got to give space. It's not a tragedy.
No, it's not. Like, you literally just like walked away for 10 minutes and came back and you're like, you're okay, right? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I don't even know why it was like that. That was crazy. It's just like a small example.
I think that's also like the maturity of being in this long of a relationship is not being scared when you're annoyed with me. I'm like, he loves me. It's fine. It will be fine. I don't care. You know, it used to be like if you would get annoyed with me in the past, it'd be like, no, Sean, let me reel you back in. And now I'm like, reel yourself back in. I'll see you in 15.
Yeah. Well, we're both pretty good at self-regulation. I don't know how good I would be at it if you like stormed off. If you like stormed out and like took the car or whatever, like it just sends me spiraling. But like
into abandonment issues.
Yeah. Big time. But I know how to get myself back to base. I'm pretty quick.
Yeah. I just pray everybody has grace with themselves and lands in a moment where you don't need to even do anything to enjoy a moment of peace right now. You know, it's not like, oh, once I meditate, then I'll find peace. Once I eat better, then I'll find peace. Once I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, then I'll find peace. No, your peace is here and it's available to you. It's our God-given right to experience. We were listening to Jack Kornfield the other day, and he was talking about a Tibetan monk who, you know, was like really happy, and someone asked him, they're like, they've burned the villages, the villages have been burned, your texts have been destroyed, like, how could you be happy? And he's like, I'm gonna let them take my peace of mind as also. You know,
that speaks to my heart very, very specifically, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a revolutionary act.
Yeah.
To not give it away.
Hold your ground.
Hold your ground and being like, I'm not gonna be rageful.
Well, just offering yourself the grace that you think the world owes you. Like, that's an easy way of falling into fucking victimhood, is thinking like, oh, here's what needs to happen for me to be happy. Here's what needs to happen for, you know, like you're saying, like, you can offer yourself that in an instant. It's a hard thing to kind of make yourself aware of if you've been telling yourself a shitty story about yourself your whole life, because those are well-worn pathways.
Yeah, it's like, and it's all neuro pathways, and that's honestly the thing that gives me hope when I find myself in a dark place. I'm like, all right, I just got to steer the ship a little bit in a more positive direction, little by little.
Little by little, I'll find myself out of here.
When I feel like a piece of shit, I'm like, oh, I just need to be more generous little by little. You know, do something kind, do something generous. You know, it's like, oh, the world is shit and I'm shit and everything's shit. Okay, well, I can change that story. And I can do it in a little instant, and then another little instant, another little instant.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, you know what throws the whole fucking thing off is alcohol. I hate to say it. A lot of people that I know that struggle with anxiety or depression, alcohol is
You're
a
just putting
factor.
yourself behind the 8 ball.
There's just, like I said, there's just it. Talk about stagnating. That's the ultimate stagnation drug.
Well, you're opening yourself up to demonic spirits. I'm not saying it's just like that's what alcohol is. It opens yourself up to these spirits and lower vibrational spirits.
Closing the doors of perception, opening the doors of fucking nasty spirits and demons. And
yeah, there's a really beautiful thing about alcohol where you feel more loving and you have these moments of like inhibitions down, but with that opening comes like little nasty spirits can get in you.
It's next to, I mean, that's the whole thing. I could talk shit about it because it's like, look, I love drugs, I love substances, I love consciousness alteration. That one sucks. It's next to impossible to get the dose right. That's all it is. It's just like, how many people do you know that can thread the needle, get the dose right, and not end up a disaster, either right then or the next day? Like it's that's the whole thing. It's kind of what's fun about alcohol too. It's like, we're gonna get crazy. It's about to get crazy.
I think what it does is it makes you feel like you're taking one step up, but you're like also like you take one step up to a higher level, but then you just take the slide down.
Yes.
You know, so it's like this illusion of like, oh, I feel better and I feel like I'm not having these. I honestly haven't had a close relationship with alcohol in many years. It's hard for me to even talk about, but I do feel very strongly about it not being a supportive tool.
Well, I mean, I can only speak to this because like we're seeing Dean Ween have a reckoning. This is somebody who's like, you know, well known for his prodigious drinking abilities.
Oh yeah, I don't even know.
Oh yeah. And substance intake in general, and it has been from a young age. And then we have another friend who's a female who the same thing is from a young age, just been known for cocaine and alcohol. And they're both currently not in a good place. And it's almost like when you have alcohol in your system for that long and you become reliant on it for that long, you're like you're freezing yourself in time. You're not allowing emotions to get processed on a certain real level. You're sweeping things under the rug, and they will eventually rot out. And that's when a reckoning happens. And sometimes it can be very scary. We're seeing a friend of ours kind of have like I said, like we have a close friend that is like going through the thing. Like if I were to have a mental breakdown, first and foremost, it would be my problem. And if I couldn't handle it myself, it would be your problem. And if you couldn't handle it, then it's my family's problem. The family can't handle it, then it's the community's problem. The community can't handle it, then it's culture's problem. If culture can't handle it, society's problem, and then you end up institutionalized. And so you don't want it to get to those levels. You don't want to get to the level where you're challenging the people in your household, your close friends, family, partners, to have to intervene and have to take care of you and you don't want it to get to that point, because you see how we're seeing it firsthand with a friend right now go from like, oh wow, your core group of friends couldn't handle this, your mom and your sister couldn't handle this, oh my god, okay, and you cut them off. Well, now it's kind of the community's problem. Oh, the community can't handle it? Shit, you're playing with fire. You're really, really, really playing with like some nasty stuff, because we're just on that level. When you start to get out of like the nucleus of like the family, community support, all that stuff, once you've worn them down, everything else is very unforgiving.
Well, some people don't even have that to start with.
Yeah, exactly. And like we always say, like there's some absurdly high number of homeless people, like 90% are out there because of catastrophic loss of family in one way or another. And just bearing witness to it is heart-wrenching, because like we started off saying, it's like, what can you do for somebody? Like what do you do? We're really good at holding space, but like some people are just so on one that they blow right through all the goodwill that we might have together or anything we can kind of work together on, you know?
Well, like Ramdas says, all I can do for you is work on myself, and all you can
Yeah.
do for me is work on
Yeah.
yourself. You know, and that's not to eradicate yourself of not having a sense of responsibility for your brothers and sisters or anything. Um, but being like a peaceful container to hold, you know what I mean? That's like yesterday. It's such a small example, but you were having a hard time. The only thing I could do, like when I get defensive with you, we get deeper into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just hold a peaceful disposition and like, oh, we're not in a fight, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing could be wrong now.
Yeah.
We can come quicker out of it together because we
Mm.
don't have to both crawl our way out.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing my best.
You're fine. I don't even know why you brought that up. It was like not even a big deal.
I don't know why either, but it's definitely something that feels out of the ordinary compared to the way I've been feeling lately. I think I've been feeling like really positive and like I hate to say it, it just like I hadn't smoked weed all day. And it was like 8 p.m.
Mm.
And I fucking hate that I'm back like to that thing where it's just like
Where you can feel like you.
I
Like
was
mental.
great. It was smooth sailing all day. I was having such a great day, and then I realized at like 7:30, I was like, "Oh, I didn't smoke weed today. Maybe I'll try not to. Maybe I'll get back on the like not being on weed thing." Because all you need is like a day. Like literally, if I could have gotten through yesterday, I'd be smooth sailing on it today. But you know, the tension builds up, and I'm taking it out on you, and I'm like, "Why aren't I smoking? Like, let's just smoke."
Yeah.
And we smoked, and we had a great night.
Yeah, no, it was all.
It calmed me down.
It all comes back around. I get annoyed with you all the time, so I don't even mind when you get annoyed with me. I'm like, this is just part of the thing.
Yeah, but it's understandable why you get annoyed at me. Like, I'm a fucker. You're perfect. You know, you're Little Miss Perfect.
No,
You're such
I'm
a
not.
sweetie pie.
And,
you really are.
And you are too. When I'm annoyed at you, it's not because you're being mean or nasty. It's because you're like pawing at me, and I'm like, stop. I gotta go.
I have to be serious.
I gotta wash my face right now.
Yeah.
Can I just take my contacts out and not have you pawing at me? Can I brush my teeth for once? Now, I really do understand why people have two sinks.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, sharing a sink is like
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always had one sink.
We've always shared a bathroom and a sink.
We've always shared, but sometimes when you're flossing right behind me, I'm like, God damn it, you gotta floss right behind me. You're gonna get little tooth.
What, are you kidding me? I'm so goddamn mindful. Are you fucking joking me? I would never get little.
When I
tooth
floss, little things go flying everywhere.
I'm better than that. I got my shit together.
That's what I picture. I picture your little inside your teeth, little foods getting in my hair.
Oh my God, Cass! You think I would continue doing that if I saw anything coming out or like what the fuck? What?
That's what I picture.
I'm so goddamn clean and hygienic and pretty much presentable. Like a lot of our relationship, even though we're on top of each other all the goddamn time.
No, I've been thinking about it. When you got annoyed at me, I don't even blame you. I am less mindful than you are. I am unequivocally not as mindful of a girlfriend as you are as a boyfriend. And it's a beautiful thing because
Partly because you don't have to be. Because your natural disposition is just like kind of sweetness. I have to work, you know what I mean? I have to have ways of doing things to bring out my best self and be a good boyfriend. And coming from the parents I come from, the fact that I'm a decent boyfriend is a fucking miracle. You know, like we were listening to some fucking therapy thing the other day and somebody was like, you know, I grew up in a household where it was just screaming and chaos and fighting all the time. I never saw a peaceful conflict resolution.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, like the hug and the kiss and like, oh,
I'm never seen that.
Yeah, it doesn't usually go there.
So the fact that you and I have like a thriving thing, it's just like it's kind of a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm sorry if I'm not. You know, I want to be. I think this is the thing that happens in relationships is you take the person for granted, and I am guilty of that, and not being as validating. Like, thanks for finding something for us. Thank you for playing music. That was a really good song. Thank you for driving. Thank you for DJing. Thank you for always having something in mind. Thank you for always caring. Thank you for keeping the house clean. Thank you for always vacuuming. Thank you for cleaning the bathroom.
You don't have to do all this. I just wish you thought I was funny.
Maybe one day. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what drives me ultimately cuckoo. Is if I feel like I'm being really cute and funny and I'm getting nothing, and you're just being a tough crowd for no reason. And I'm like, come on, throw your boy a bone. I've been working on that impression, that voice. I was just in a fucking goddamn flow of improv. And you're just like...
No, yeah, we were talking about how, I like can't help it, but I'm a more serious person.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as on the spectrum of serious people, you wouldn't think of me as a very serious person. But between you and me, I'm definitely like...
Of course. I mean, you're the girl. I'm the boy.
Yeah.
I'm a joker, and, it's just like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to you the other day, and I was like, this isn't meant to be offensive or anything. But I think that the real difference between men and women is like, how come there is no female Ween? Tell me if there is. Like just like people that are just like being complete fuckers
and joking around
and
like,
just joke.
There's a reason they call
thing.
it like hanging with the boys. Like the boys have a reputation of like, all right, like Jackass. Like look at Jackass.
Perfect example.
That's
there couldn't be a female version of that.
When boys are left to their own devices, they're chasing each other around,
kicking each other in the balls,
whatever,
pranks, this kind of thing.
Funny voices, and women are like,
what goes on?
What does go on? I mean, I love being a woman, and
of course. I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm saying fucking men are jackasses.
We talk about. I feel like we talk about life in a more just responsible way. And like planting flowers, and how do we take better care of our life and ourselves and the earth. It's like it is a more mindful way of being.
Yeah.
I think there's a place where mindfulness and funniness meet. Yeah. Of course. And,
totally.
And that is, I think, in order to be funny, you're being whatever. But if I were to try in this moment to deduce what it is about women, or the feminine energy when females get together, or more feminine energy gets together, it does feel like it feels more responsible. We're keeping up with each other. There's a lot of like, how are you doing? What are your plans?
Checking
in. What's going on in this world? How can there be a better world? What does our future look like? What kind of flowers do we want to plant? What kind of teas do you like? It's like it's very enjoyable, but it's not like ball slapping.
No, it's I mean, when you and your friends are hanging out, and I'm like lucky enough to be privy to it, or the vibes are always impeccable. Like you guys get along. It's great.
No conflict. It's chill as hell.
And look, I don't know if you could say the same thing when I'm hanging out with the boys. Like the vibe might feel impeccable to me, but to other people it might be like, you guys are fucked up. Like what's wrong with you? Like why would you say that? Why would you do that?
Yeah, and also and it's hard because all the different women are different and different. Like some women are more catty, some boys are more anxious, or whatever it is. You kind of find your people, but
yeah.
No, there is a little bit of a difference where I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just like not in my makeup to be as like fucking around all the time as you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to disturb the natural order of things, but every now and then I kind of just turn to you and I'm like, why? I do that. I'm like, I turn to you and I'm just like, why? Why are we being like this? Because I get caught up in the prevailing tide being like... I got
plans to make.
Oh, like, why are we being like this?
I don't know. It's like, I don't have children, but I feel like I need to make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
There's like a...
Yeah.
If I don't have a real child, there's an invisible child that I'm trying to take care of all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are. You're tethered by an invisible green laser of light that just goes from your heart to oh, the children of the world that need you to be a little bit more serious and think about them and take care of them. It's just like, I'm like, why are we being like this right now? Why can't we fucking just fuck around? You know, but we
Yeah.
do. You and I mean, we.
I love fucking around,
I know.
but it doesn't come as easily to me, and that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
fine. It's fine.
It does though. It does come easier to you than a lot of people.
And even a lot of boys.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
definitely been around boys, and I'm like,
You're more of the boys than they are.
yeah, I'm like, chill out, like have a lighten up.
Yeah.
Where it's just boy time.
Yeah, exactly. Rip this joint and fucking laugh with us, and then they get paranoid.
Yeah, we're just being the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason I like working with our editor, Kathy, so much is because she thinks I'm so funny. I don't know
Yeah.
if she would admit that, but I get her to laugh a lot. And it's
No, she has a good sense of humor.
she really gets my sense of humor, and I get hers. And our films are filled with the things that kind of made us laugh for one reason or another.
Totally.
Not laughing at people or making fun of them or whatever, just more the celebratory, like, oh my God, how did this person think of saying that at that moment? This is crazy. We captured it. And that's all of our films are just filled with things that make us feel joy. I don't know. It's kind of simple.
Yeah, it's been like a good feeling because obviously there's a lot of work still to be done on the film, but we watch it down and we're like, well, we like it. Like it's an
Yeah.
we enjoy it, so
Yeah.
hopefully other people will too.
Yeah. I mean, we were down. Atlanta is like the Hollywood of the East. So,
Mhm.
like, we know so many people in the industry down there. And
Totally.
it was fun to be down there for a couple of weeks. We didn't do as many like hangs with our friends as I would have liked, but we did get to hang with a couple industry homies.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm so glad we do what we do,
Yeah, I mean,
and we're impervious to their little notes or suggestions or I think of them as distractions.
well, because someone can be like, well, you guys could be more successful if you did X, Y, Z, and we're like, but
The
we
thing
don't.
you're doing that's making you miserable, and that's why you're here with me. No, I'm good. I'm good.
we
You do the paint by numbers thing. You hate it. So you reached out to me and we're talking, and I picked my lane. I picked it a long time ago.
well he
I don't expect anyone to help me. I did not get into this for fame or for the industry or for validation or anything like that. Like, I got to make these things.
yeah.
And
Well-
here's how they're coming out, man.
I mean, but you can understand that it's normal for other people to look at that you're a talented director and that you haven't had success in the traditional way of like maybe you've had commercial success but maybe not like TV series or movies or Netflix or whatever it is and
Insane bar to judge my success by,
I'm
but
not-
sure.
okay, sorry.
Insane.
I'm not trying to judge
No,
it.
go for it. I'm going to let you finish your point.
I'm saying some like producers who are in that world
Mm-hmm.
say it's crazy, you should be in here. And in order to be in here, you just need to do XYZ
Yeah.
and like basically take your vibe of art and turn it into a more methodical.
Yeah. Expected. You know what I mean? They're basically like, hey, why don't you take what you do and totally flip it on its head and make it a predictable, expected thing that
Follow these rules.
that executives will love. Hey, I know that you've cultivated an audience over all these years, and people are very excited to see your stuff and whatever your latest expression is. But wouldn't it be better if executives liked it? Like, no, I don't care. I don't fucking care what they think. They're a dime a dozen. They fucking the turnover rate of these people. What am I going to align my tastes with some fucking asshole because they happen to get a job at Netflix? Like, I don't give a shit. They're going to be out of there. Everything's changed. We outlasted Vice. An
We
entire company cropped up, fucking took over the industry and went away while we were just slow and steady doing our thing, turtle style.
Well, I think we're very rich, you know.
Absolutely.
So I feel very
There's no
rich.
one that can sit in front of me and be like, hey, the thing I chose to do would be better for you than the thing you chose for you. No, you have no idea. You have no idea what I've been through, what motivates me, what I get off in life, the deals with the devil that I've made. You have no fucking clue. Like, so just, like, it almost becomes insulting sometimes, you know? I'm like, oh, in order to get money, I just have to change completely? No, thank you. Why are you even talking to me about this?
Well, I think they agree with you in that they love what you do and they wish
Yeah.
that what you did was more commercially whatever.
It will be, but it will only be as the pendulum swings by. And then it'll be out of favor again, and then the pendulum will swing by, and what we do will be in favor again. Trust me, when I first started doing it, 2008 to 2013, 2008 to 2015, I couldn't miss. There was nothing that we could do that could get people to not watch us. That we were just boom, boom, boom. Everyone loved it. The industry loved it. The commercial industry loved it. Offers, everything, blah, blah, blah. Then the pendulum swung into some lame-ass paint by numbers. Tell me the conflict. Tell me every beat.
Make sure there's some sort of murder-suicide.
Yeah, exactly. Beat me over the head with information. It has nothing to do with vibes or spirituality or anything bigger. It's just like paint by numbers storytelling, fucking bullshit, just not fun, not poetic, not what life feels like. And films to me are a sensory experience. Someone should walk away from having a cinematic experience being like, wow, noticeably that changed me in this way or another. I'm going to be thinking about that one for a long time. Watch anything that's out there. When we watch it all.
And I'm glad people make those movies.
I'm glad people make them. They're just void of all the qualities, just like a spectrum of colors that they're not painting with, that we exclusively paint with. So you have these meetings and people are like, come paint with our very limited brushes and color palette here. And I'm like, no, why would I do that? I'm getting by. I'm figuring out how to get by. I've figured out how to get by. I'm fucking 43. Like, this, me not having success, or whatever they want to say, is not because I tried and failed.
No.
I've had success on my terms.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then it's not success. Otherwise, if you're doing it on... And that's where I think Ween's been so inspirational to us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And validating. It's like, yeah, they could have made more normal songs, but they didn't want to.
What are they trying to fit in with?
Like
they were doing everything they could to not fit in with a scene that was labeled alternative. And that was so just a label that got thrown on anything back then. And it was like, oh, look at all of us. We're alternative. We're the 90s, this and that. And Ween was just like decidedly like, no, we don't want to be part of that fucking lame-ass corporate marketing vibe, alternative. And they rejected it.
Well, and they also, from what I can see, devoted themselves to having a fun and funny time making art.
Absolutely. Well, that's what
Diener
like, wrote in the liner notes on this. He's like, if it's fun and funny for you to listen to this, just know it is, because that's what we were doing. That's how we made them.
Right.
We were laughing, and we thought this was funny, and it was a lot of fun. And
well, I think that's why you were devoted to making art that you love, because you want to love the art.
Well, like Ween, they looked at a scene that the music scene surrounding them at the time when they were popping off was very self-serious. And I would say the same thing about the filmmaking scene. And even most of the filmmakers, a lot of the filmmakers we're friends with. I'm like, why are you fucking so serious? Everything is just fucking so serious. And I'm like...
And precious.
Yeah, precious.
Like, you're like, in the first second, you're like, wow, this is so precious.
Exhaustingly precious. And it's just like, ugh. And I reject it. I don't want to have anything to do with those kind of films or those people. And I instead will have faith in myself, the films we make. And hey, I think someday...
The life we live.
Because
we're laughing every day.
Yeah.
We might joke that we got annoyed at each other at 10 p.m., but like that doesn't mean we didn't laugh all day and laugh all night.
Have sex twice, have a great fucking time, fucking keep our streak alive. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Like... I reject it. I reject that pull towards, hey, be like us. Be a little bit more like us, and maybe you could get the 7,000 square foot house. Like, why would I want that? That is a fucking nightmare. That is a trap. How do you not see it's a trap? It's 2024. We have generations before us that have fallen into that trap. Entire generations fell through the trap door of materialism, for lack of a better word. How would you let that happen to yourself in 2024 as an artist? How would you let that happen? It's just like the most obvious temptation that you could easily avoid. So, to me, I reject it. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna dig my heels in and keep doing our
I think
thing.
if anything, it just validates where we're at. Like we loved making this movie, we love watching this movie, we loved the process, we
Yeah.
are going to love sharing it, and so
And I love that it might piss people off who want us to be more serious.
I mean
This is wild magic.
when
No. We have friends. We have friends that are like that.
well when we
Condescending spiritual fuckheads, judgmental spiritual fuckheads who don't even bother.
well that's
trying
because
to
they
hide
judge
it.
themselves.
They
It's
judge
like you can't
themselves,
even be
but they
upset.
try to make it about like someone else. You know who I'm really concerned about? You know who's a little out of control? Like, fuck off. They're living. They're doing their thing. Fucking don't judge them. Who the fuck are you? You know?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'd say about even seeing someone as like going off the deep end. You're like, well, that's perfect for their journey. It is their journey.
The reason I bring it up is I don't want to see anyone institutionalized. It's happened to my dad. It's happened to my cousins. It's happened to people
Well, so what do
very
you think
close to
about
me.
like
That is you're about to be traumatized in a way that will fucking put to shame everything that happened before.
Well,
fucking avoid being institutionalized.
as someone I've never been institutionalized, so I am talking out of turn, but it does feel like if you hit that wall, you just are going to have to reel it in, because ultimately some of us find out, whether quickly or dramatically, is that you have to behave in our society at a certain level. But then we were watching the Larry Flint,
People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah, and he definitely didn't behave, and I mean he suffered for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's almost like you look at his life and you're like, I don't know if he'd regret that. It almost was necessary to be a rebel rouser.
He was going to be who he was going to be. He was who he was, and he didn't hide it. I am who I am, and I don't hide it. And that really bothers some people. And that's okay. Like, I should be an agitator.
I mean, I think a mark of like a sicker society is that when there's a free spirit, that we lock them up rather than let them shine.
We kill them. We want to kill that version of them, whether we have to nail them up on a cross or whatever, but we want to kill the free spirit version of them. What do you think Adderall does?
Right.
That's what Adderall is. It's
totally.
Here,
kill
behave
him
like the rest of us.
Yeah, kill him young.
Yeah, let's medicate that right out of you. That free spirit, that little fucker that could change the world. Get on speed. Get a little bit hyper masculine about it all. Yeah, I reject it, and I do it. I don't know. I think we do it in ways that aren't like fuck you, but more.
It's just we can't help ourselves.
The work speaks for itself.
I just feel like it's just kind of like you watch a film, and we've watched a film a million times down, and Kathy's the most incredible editor who is like brilliant in so many ways, and you're so brilliant in way, and you watch how you put things together too, and you just watch and you're like, well, that's perfect. There's like no other way. You'd actually have to try to make it something else. And I think that's where your compass has been.
Yeah.
And I think at times I've butted heads with you about it, because I'm like, everyone else is fucking trying and you're not going to try because and listen to me before you get defensive. You've so pointed your compass towards smooth sailing and being that vibe and having that vibe translate through your art and your films, that I'm asking you to do something that would not be your art. If I'm like, hey, we got to try. Everyone else tries. Why aren't we trying? I mean, how can we, but it's like, it's not that we don't try. It's like, but like to push, you're like, no, it's effortless. Okay, we're doing it effortless. Cass, you're trying too hard. If you're trying too hard, it's not going to work out because it's going to be stressed and this and that. That doesn't mean you don't practice your craft and get better at it and learn about it and have new ideas and try things out. But like, I wish our vocabulary wasn't so limited You know how we only have like one word for love and other countries have like 30 words for love, like familial love, romantic love, without qualifiers, they're just different words. That's how I feel like we need for try. Try feels like too broad for what I'm trying to express. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure what you're describing. All I could do is be myself. There's a world in which you could kind of flip that exact thing you just said and be like, Sean tries harder than everyone.
Because it's effort to stay chill.
Yeah, Cass.
I know that now.
Do you know how much easier my life would be if I was like, I work at History Channel. That's what I do. I mean, they gave me an opportunity and I try and I work hard and I work here.
Or do you know how much easier, not easier, it's almost like there's a cheat code that you introduce me to that you're like, I'm trying to be chill and that's the only thing that's important. It's like, where is your God?
Yeah.
Is your God some certain accolade? Is it a certain amount of money? You're like, my God is good days.
Yeah.
My God is a good relationship with my parents, a good relationship with my girlfriend, a good relationship with my body, a good relationship with my art. That's your God.
Smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing.
Good relationship with my country. Get in your car and cruise the land of the brave and free. We do that and we love doing it. And, so you want, like that, yeah, those are the gods I pray to.
And you have to try at all of those things.
Yeah, everyone's praying to some gods, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, you're lifting weights at 10 p.m. for some goddamn reason, and
it's not your business. It's really nobody else's business why I would do stuff like that, or what's motivating me, or what little demons might be trying to get their voice heard. And I'm just like, nope, not happening. I don't know.
I'm not judging you. I'm trying to talk in a way that I'm not trying to be judgmental. Yeah.
But I mean, look.
I'm just joking with you.
Here's what I would say in my defense is at least I'm aware of the gods I pray to.
Right.
And I think, the fun thing about life, or one of the ways you can look at it, is like everyone's praying to their own gods. What are they? Sometimes they don't even know.
I don't know half the time.
And a lot of times it's been hijacked. And I think if you go into any household in the world.
What's your altar?
There's altars, whether you know it or not. And what is the altar here? The TV. The TV is the altar. It's literally the centerpiece of every room you go into. It's the altar into which my family prays. So it's no wonder that I'm like, I could never get my parents' attention. It was absolute chaos and mayhem my whole life, and fucking medical ordeals, jail, prison, drugs, fucking insanity. And despite it all, there was a TV on. And I couldn't get their attention, but the TV could. So I don't think there's any wonder why you end up doing what you do. We all want our parents' attention, whether they're here or not, whether they were on the scene or not, whether they were good parents or bad parents. My parents weren't bad parents. There was just a lot of fucking shit going on, and I couldn't take center stage. And I think partly because I couldn't get anyone's attention, it made me really good at this.
Well, you're like, this is the medium to try to, Yeah. You're like, oh, that's what people pray to. I'm gonna create within that framework and that realm. Yeah, it's really, I like the perspective and positioning of like, okay, that we all have altars in our house.
Yeah.
It just, you don't think about it, but you devote a lot of your energy, a lot of your attention, and you give it away. And we pray to the gods of people who aren't praying for us. Let's just put it plainly. I believe when I pray to the angels pray for me.
Yes, they do. That's the way it works.
When I pray to any major news network, they don't give a fuck. They want to eat me up and spit me out.
They want you anxious. Don't pray to gods that want you anxious or depressed or dwelling.
Or sick.
That's not where it is. That's not where it's at.
I was thinking about why we can't have healthcare in this country. And I'm like, well, they'd have to address how they poison us from literally every angle.
We can't afford it.
It's yeah.
We're so sick. And look, I don't even want to get off on a tangent of this stuff, but sometimes I think the false gods that people praise and worship without knowing it is their shitty inner monologue. That they're incapable, or they can't, or
that they're sick,
or that they're not right, or they couldn't do that. Oh, that's other people. That's oh, see, look, they're able to do that. I can't do that. Like, oh God, I feel like the ultimate magic trick, and I'm trying to get this into our movie, I think it's a part of it, is changing your life. That is the ultimate that's the ultimate alchemy. Changing your life from nothing. And why not? You don't have to be sick to get better. And if you are sick, let's get better. And like I said, it's going to happen the same way you got sick. The same way you get better is the same way you got sick. Little by little. Little by little. So that's all I'm trying to do every day is get better. Just try to get a little bit better at being me. I'm the best at being me yet. Like, and I like that. I like that I don't like look back on my life and be like, damn, I really had it all going on at 27. What happened? How did I lose it? No, I'm better at being me more now than ever.
Well, that's what life is about.
Yeah. And I don't know when it happened. It wasn't like, oh, I took ayahuasca. That was the shortcut. People love thinking there's some fucking shortcut to this. And psychedelics are a tempting one. They will help. They're an accelerant. They more show you the goal than bring you there, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I wouldn't go seeking those shortcuts. I think those are false gods too.
Totally.
Like...
They're fun gods.
Of course.
They're wily gods. They're twisted joker gods.
Yeah, of course. They're tricksters. They're tricksters. Think to be able to take a drug and channel God and be God is pretty fucking awesome and pretty spectacular. But you got to figure out how to do that in your day to day without it.
Yeah, otherwise it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. But meanwhile, I've taken acid every day for the past 2.5 weeks. And it's just part of my life right now. And it was when we were shooting this back in May too. But it helps give me a little sparkle.
That is pretty sparkly.
You're on it too.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm quicker to cry.
Let's hop over to the Patreon.
All right, cool.
Patreon.com/churchofchill. Join us over there. If you know, you know. If you don't, I feel bad for you, son. Pray for Ween.
Yeah.
Peace, love, and magic.